Most people think that dyslexia is letters moving around on the page, but that's not actually the case. It's a bit of a myth. And it's surprising, but some of the biggest signs of dyslexia actually have nothing to do with reading at all. And this means that sometimes kids get misdiagnosed as just being difficult or maybe lazy. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 surprising signs of dyslexia that sometimes parents and teachers miss. Hi, I'm Emily, a former teacher, assistant principal, and founder of Wise Owl Education. And I wanted to talk to you today about the 5 surprising signs of dyslexia. So, myth sign number 5, this is the avoidance brain. So, you might often hear a dyslexic child say, "Oh, I'm too tired for reading," or "This book is so boring," or "School is just so boring." And this is actually their anxiety coming out. So it's not really about the book, and it's not about not wanting to do it. It's them looking after themselves and saying, my brain is saying I can't do this, so I'm just not even going to try. And often we misinterpret this as laziness, but it's actually them trying to protect themselves. So that's sign number 5. And sign number 4, this is what I call the tip of the tongue syndrome. So your child or your student might often say, forget the name of things. And they might say things like, "Oh, what's that thingy there? What's that stuff called?" And if you're at home, they might call the TV remote that clicker thingy or that black box. This tells us that the child is having trouble retrieving the names of things. So they often forget the names of common objects, the names of their friends, things that we would expect them to remember. And this is because when a person is dyslexic, their brain has trouble filing all the information that other people who don't have dyslexia do very easily. And this means that the brain is taking a longer path to connect that in their brain. So kind of think of it as like a slow internet. Everything's buffering until they can retrieve that information. The 3rd hidden sign is what I call the sequencing struggle. People with dyslexia have trouble with their executive functioning, and that means that they struggle to follow the steps. So they might struggle to follow a recipe, they might have a very messy room, they might have trouble putting things away where they belong or organising their things. And this is because their brain, a little bit like what I said in number 2, their brain's having trouble keeping order of the steps. Kids with dyslexia, or adults with dyslexia, often have trouble remembering things in sequence. So things like days of the week or months of the year, and even times tables can be affected by dyslexia. So if your child can't remember if Tuesday comes before Wednesday, or if February comes after January, that could be a sign that there could be some dyslexia happening. All right, but sign number 2, this is what I call the word salad. So it's very common for people with dyslexia to mishear words. So sometimes they might say things like Pacific instead of specific, or paschetti instead of spaghetti, or aminal instead of animal. So if your child is doing this long after their peers have outgrown it, it could be a sign that there's some dyslexia going on. And this is because they have trouble with their phonological awareness, which is being able to hear the sounds in words, manipulate and blend them and segment them. There's lots of different skills that we build in phonological awareness. And this is one of the things that I always target in my practice with learning intervention with these kids. Because once we can strengthen their phonological awareness skills, their reading and writing comes after. Okay, hidden sign number 1. This is what I call the memory glitch. Have you ever said to your child, "Go and put your shoes on and get your school bag so we can leave the house for school," and they come back holding a toy with maybe one sock and telling you about something totally random? This is what, so I've just mentioned that that's called the memory glitch. So a little bit like what I touched on in some of those other signs, people with dyslexia often have trouble sequencing events and following multi-step instructions. So having difficulty with doing lots of things that have been asked in an instruction is a sign that there could be some dyslexia happening. I just want to add on to number 1 that this isn't a child being lazy or not listening or not doing what you've asked. It's not behavior, they're not trying to be naughty, not trying not to follow your instructions. It's really because their brain is at capacity. They can't handle all these instructions, all these things going on. There's lots of things to do that there's lots of things that we can do to support them. Let me know which sign surprised you the most. And if 2 or 3 of these sound like your child or maybe one of your students, you can take the free dyslexia quiz linked in the description below. This is a little screener quiz that I created to help you decide if there are some signs of dyslexia going on. Full disclaimer, it is not a diagnostic tool. Teachers are not trained to diagnose dyslexia, so just want to put that out there. But that's there for you, and you can get some more information there or head to my website. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.